April Garris is a mum who works as a service technician fixing warehouse equipment, but she's also a former porn star, and she's here today to tell us why the sex industry nearly destroyed her life. It's often glamorized as a harmless and victimless industry, but for our next guest, mother of one April Garris, working in the porn industry was to almost destroy her life.
When I made my first movie, I was about 29 years old. I was actually about 26 when I got into stripping, which is how I graduated into the porn industry. You gotta understand, when you're getting ready to do this hardcore scene with either one, it could be one performer or numerous performers, and just the whole atmosphere, just what you're putting yourself through, it's a way of escaping. I just remember zoning out the whole time, and drugs are a huge part of that. And yeah, the drugs they add to the depression that's already taking place. So it really drives you into a really dark place.
Yes, it's the reality of the porn industry, and April Garris joins us now. You're very welcome to the morning show. April.
Morning. Thank you
for joining us. We know how old you were when you got into the industry, but why did you get into it?
At the time, my husband and I were having very serious financial problems. I was unemployed, and I was looking for a way to make money. It seemed easy enough. What I knew of the porn industry was what I saw in the videos, which is not an accurate representation of it at all. So, you know, the girls looked like they were enjoying themselves. It seemed like an easy way to make money. I had done stripping before, and I absolutely hated it. But I figured, well, maybe this will be a step up, but it wasn't. And it was the money that was why I entered the industry.
Did you come up with the idea to make the movies, or was it your husband?
My husband suggested it, and I went along with it. I guess I didn't understand how serious he was. You know, when he first suggested it, I thought he was, you know, being joking, but. Yeah.
There's a lot of people who'll be watching the program this morning say, did that not set alarm bells off in your head when your husband suggested this?
Well, yes and no. He had been addicted to porn for years, and we had actually used it as a marital aid. We thought it would help our sex life, which it absolutely didn't. It destroyed it. So knowing his enthusiasm with pornography, and the fact that he was approving of me being in stripping, which he also was the one who suggested it. I guess it didn't set off too many alarms, because I guess I kind of saw it had the ability to come, you know, to come that way. But I knew, part of me knew this was not a good thing to get into, that, you know, something seriously bad could happen. But, you know, I justified it because of the money and because my husband would be involved with me as my manager. So I kind of had that sort of protection. But you know, there were bells that went off, but I just kind of put them in the back of my mind. Yeah.
How easy was it for you to actually start in the industry? Like, were they, like, how did you find the auditions? Is it that easy to begin?
Oh, it was very easy. I sent my husband took some pictures of me, and he sent them off to Los Angeles. A couple days later, I got a call from an agent. He said he was interested. He wanted me to come down and meet him. Came down, took a few more pictures. Before you start filming, you have to go to what's called AIM, the Adult Industry Medical, and get an AIDS test just to make sure that you don't have AIDS or HIV. So I went and did that. Once I had that, I was clear to start working.
And you were 29 at the time, which I would think would be quite old to enter the porn industry.
It was old. It was old. You do have older women working. You know, as long as you look young and you look desirable, you can make money. Divorce was the last thing I wanted, and I figured if I had to get into the porn industry to keep the marriage together, to keep the money coming in, I would do it, because it didn't seem that bad at the time. All I saw was the stuff in the videos. And so yes, it was a major part. If I hadn't been married to him, I never would have gotten into it. The idea wouldn't have even come into my mind. So yes, he was a spearheader of the whole thing. He was the one who got me work, who got me in touch with the agent. I would be filming a scene, and he would be in the back with the other pornographers getting me more work. So I really didn't have any say in it. He controlled the whole situation.
Tell us, from, as you said, you watched the videos and the girls looked like they were having fun. Your very first job was a very hardcore film.
It was. It was me and another female and a guy. And what the scene was is she was an observer and I was the one having intercourse with the guy. And it was very rough. I mean, you've got to understand, when you're on set, you have like 15, 20 people around you. You have hot lights beaming on you. Your sexual performance is being scrutinized. You're told what to do. You're told what position to do it in. The men are very, very rough, you know, because they're trying to keep themselves erect, so they're very, very rough. If they lose their erection, they'll have to stop and get it back again. And you're basically waiting. You're basically doing this for an hour until he's able, what's called the money shot is when he ejaculates.
Right, okay.
Yes.
So you soon realized by your first film that, you know, behind the scenes all is not well in these movies.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the minute I walked in and I saw those people, it was like, what have I got myself into? But you get this feeling like there's really no turning back at that point because you've already committed and you need the money.
You're only in the industry 6 months, but you made 20 movies. That's 3, almost 4 movies a month.
Yes, yes.
Is that a lot? Would that be a lot for a 6-month period, or?
Yes, well, you know, it depends. You can't really do a lot of scenes in a month period just because of the kind of abuse that you endure. So yeah, it was a lot, and it really, really took its toll on my body. I got infections. I was lucky I didn't get any STDs. The majority of porn performers, I would say 99% of them have 1 or more STDs. 66% of the girls who work in the mainstream porn have herpes, which is incurable. I, by the grace of God, never got that, but I did get infections. Your body gets tore up, and it's very, very hard. It's very tiring and exhausting, and it's almost like you can only do 1, 2 movies a week.
And psychologically, these girls as well, you were saying that they're often getting sick in between scenes in the bathroom because they're so upset and things like that?
Oh yeah, it's very, very traumatizing. If they're not getting sick, they're out in the back, you know, doing drugs. Drugs are a huge part of it to numb yourself.
Well, you start using drugs. Just to,
yes.
As you said on the introduction there, just to zone out. When did you decide, I can't do this anymore? And why did you decide it?
Well, I guess the breaking point was when my husband had scheduled a movie for me involving 2 performers at the same time. And at the time I had an infection. I had gotten an infection. And I basically said, well, I can't do this scene because, you know, I have this infection and I'm about to do this rough intercourse. And I remember he got so upset and he told me that I was ruining everything and that, you know, I can't just back out now. And I remember at that point thinking, why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through this, allowing myself to get abused, tore up, putting myself, you know, bringing myself to this place just to please this person who is supposed to be my protector. And meanwhile, he's selling me out, and all he's concerned about is how much money I can make for him. That was really the breaking point, and I knew I could no longer go on with it because something serious could happen down the road. Probably would. So a couple days later, I told him I couldn't do it anymore.